So today I'm going to show you how to glue a wood veneer to a substrate using a woodworker's glue. I'm going to use some Titebond 2 today. Now the Titebond 2 is a little bit higher grade than a Titebond 1. You have 3 grades of Titebond. Titebond's a very much used woodworker's glue, so I chose it today for this demonstration. It's available in any hardware store and it's inexpensive. You have a Titebond 1, a Titebond 2, or a Titebond 3. The higher the number, the more resistant to water and moisture and vapor problems such as for exterior environments. Generally speaking, a Titebond 1 is going to do just about whatever you need it to do. I chose a Titebond 2. It's just a little bit better glue, not a whole lot. So at any rate, we have our wood veneer here. We're going to bond it down to a substrate. This is a paperback veneer. You can do this with the paperback or the woodback veneers. Here's the paper backing on this veneer. It's about a 64th overall thickness. And this is the top side, the finished side, the good side, the wood side. Wood veneer is wood. It's real wood. It sands, finishes, and glues just like real wood. Now you notice I have a glass of water and I have a rag handy. And the reason for that is in case I should get any glue on my good surface, I want to immediately take care of that and get that off. And you do that. This is a water-based glue, this Titebond. I've already put some Titebond in this little jar here. It's a water base, and so therefore you can get it off with water. If you don't get that glue off, it's going to soak in and prevent you from having a good finish on your wood later when you apply the finish. So that's something to always keep in mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to smear this. Now you can, some people even use their finger. You can use a roller. I have a cheap brush here. I'm going to hold this down real well here because this is the wood veneer, and I don't want to get glue on the good side. This is the back side. This is the side going to get glued down. If this moves around on me, it could inadvertently get some of this glue on that surface, and that's just exactly what I don't want to happen. So remember that glue is the enemy of a good finish. It's great for gluing, but it isn't too good for finishes. So you always want to be aware of that and be aware of your fingers and what you're holding, how you're holding the veneer when you're applying, and make sure you don't have any glue residue on your hands that could get onto that wood veneer. Now you can see that I have put a nice uniform coat, not too much, not too little. Always be attentive to the edges. You want to make sure you get your edges. Don't forget about your edges. And whatever you put on the wood veneer, you're going to put on the substrate as well. So the substrate is going to need a coat of glue. Now, by magic, I just happen to have my substrate already coated, and we're going to go ahead and put these together. Get rid of all that glue residue there. And what you do is you just position. Be careful not to get glue on anything. Now look, I have inadvertently gotten a little bit of glue on one corner here, one edge. Position your wood veneer right on top of the substrate. That substrate has a coat of glue on it, just like the wood veneer does. I got a little bit of glue here, but guess what? I'm going to trim that off. You'll see in a minute. So you do that. Now, just in case you did get glue on something, put a piece of wax paper on here, on the surface. That prevents any problems with glue that might try to get on here or from here to the backer board. And the backer board, what I call is a backer board, is what you're going to use to clamp and apply pressure down onto this wood veneer while it is setting up. It takes about 24 hours to set up correctly. The whole idea is pressure, pressure, pressure. You want lots of good pressure And you do that with C-clamps or any kind of clamp that you can come up with that will give you that good pressure. Never can have enough pressure. Well, you can. You don't want to just kill it with pressure. But at any rate, if you have deep-throated C-clamps that reach farther in, you can use those too. And so you can see I'm going to get pressure everywhere. And this pressure is going to clamp that veneer down and hold it tight against the substrate so that it sets up and it glues real well. Like I said, it usually takes maybe 24 hours before you really want to unclamp this. Alright, so you get this all clamped up and you set this aside then. Come back 24 hours later and you unclamp it. And lo and behold, now you have your veneer is tight down to the substrate. Take a razor knife and you cut it from behind, trim right down through there. That'll give you a perfect fit, but if you're not perfect, you don't need to worry about it too much because you can always retrim, or you can chamfer it with sandpaper or whatever you want to do to make it fit just exactly perfect. So, when it's all said and done, you have a perfectly veneered surface. Now, just in case you were to get a little bit of glue on there, what are you going to do? Let's say your fingertip got some glue right there. Well, that is what I call danger 101, and you don't fiddle around with it. It's immediately, as soon as you can get to that surface and get that glue off of there. Anywhere you touch even, just go over it and make sure that you've got good coverage with that water, and you have to be aggressive. If you're not aggressive and it sets up on you, you got a problem later. Your finish won't take correctly. So that's the simple way of applying veneers with Woodworker's glue.